And in the next few minutes, we're going to learn about some organelles and eukaryotic cells. So both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have a cell surface membrane which separates the inside of the cell from its environment. The plasma membrane, which is the cell surface membrane, is made from a phospholipid bilayer. A phospholipid is a lipid molecule with two fatty acid chains and a phosphate-containing group. Plasma membranes have proteins and cholesterol embedded in them, and these proteins will act as receptors. This means that the cell can respond to the external environment of the cell. The plasma membrane controls the passage of organic molecules, ions and water, and oxygen into and out of the cell. Waste products, like carbon dioxide and ammonia, leave the cell by passing through the plasma membrane. The cytoplasm is made up of organelles suspended in the gel-like cytosol. 70% of the cytoplasm is made up of water. The cytoplasm also contains proteins, sugars, ions, and fatty acids. Many metabolic reactions take place in the cytoplasm. Different organelles perform specific functions within the cytoplasm. And it's important to remember that organelles are parts of cells. Organelles are not cells, even though they are surrounded by membranes, often. The nucleus is a big organelle that contains the cell's DNA, and it's surrounded by the nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is a double membrane structure that has a number of pores. Both the inner and outer membranes of the nuclear envelope are phospholipid bilayers. The pores of the nuclear envelope control the passage of ions, molecules and RNA between the nucleoplasm, which is sort of the cytoplasm of the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. The nucleoplasm is the semi-solid fluid inside the nucleus, where we find chromatin and the nucleolus. In eukaryotes, the nucleus contains linear chromosomes that are made up of DNA. There's an area in the nucleus called the nucleolus, and the plural of this would be nucleoli. The nucleus controls the actions of the cell, and the DNA in the nucleus contains instructions for the synthesis of proteins. Ribosomal RNA is joined together with associated proteins in the nucleolus to assemble ribosomal subunits. So we just talked about the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and cell membranes. And now we're going to talk about mitochondria and chloroplasts. Mitochondria produce ATP via aerobic respiration, and chloroplasts are plant cell organelles that carry out photosynthesis. Mitochondria are oval-shaped, double-membrane organelles that have their own ribosomes and DNA. Each membrane is a phospholipid bilayer embedded with proteins. The inner layer of the membrane has folds called cristae. The area surrounded by these folds is called the mitochondrial matrix, and this matrix contains enzymes used for respiration. The mitochondria make ATP via aerobic respiration. Muscle cells have a very high concentration of mitochondria because they are highly active and need a lot of energy to keep the body moving. So now I'll have a look at some chloroplasts. Chloroplasts have their own DNA, ribosomes, and have an inner and outer membrane. The space enclosed by the inner membrane contains a set of interconnected and stacked fluid film membrane sacs called thylakoids. Each stack of thylakoids is called a granum. And these grana are linked by lamellae. Lamellae are flat, thin parts of the thylakoid membrane. The fluid enclosed by the inner membrane that surrounds the grana is called the stroma. Photosynthesis is a series of reactions that use carbon dioxide, water, and light energy to make glucose and oxygen. This process happens in chloroplasts and allows plants to make their own food. for example sugars. Chloroplasts are found in plant and algal cells, but not in animal or fungal cells.